A £9 million Celtic flop on the way out. Luis Palma says never again. Rangers chasing a £6 million wonder, and Brendan Rodgers lined up for a new deal while the fan base holds its breath. Love the madness of Scottish football? Hit subscribe. We bring the chaos every day. No filters, just facts and fire. So Adam Idah, once the golden boy of a storming 6-month loan spell, is now facing the very real possibility of becoming Glasgow's most expensive cheerleader. Celtic dropped a whopping £9 million to make him theirs permanently, making it the second biggest fee in the club's history. Expectations? Sky high. Reality? Bit more May than magic. 14 goals in 45 games might not sound tragic, but when most of those appearances are cameo roles off the bench, you start to wonder if he's more impact sub than leading man. And with Days and Maida turning into a goal-hungry machine, banging in 30 and leaving defenders spinning, it's no wonder Idah's stuck watching from the sidelines with his bib on. And let's not forget, Kyogo's shock move to Rennes in January should have opened the door wide for Idah. Instead, Maida just kicked it shut again with a hat trick and a sprint. Now, former Celtic midfielder Scott Allen has thrown his 2 pence in, suggesting that if Idah wants to be more than just a bench option with a great view of the action, he'll need to pack his bags and find a new postcode. According to Allen, we've seen this script before. Promising player lands at either of the big Glasgow clubs, can't quite break through, and needs to move on to truly shine. Should Celtic admit they got it wrong and cut their losses on Idah, or is he being wasted in a system that never really gave him a fair shot? Go on then, let us know what you think. Is this a classic case of a player not being good enough, or a club not knowing how to use the talent they bought? Luis Palma. Ladies and gents, the Honduran winger who went from hot prospect to packing his bags with a big old chip on his shoulder. Brought in by Celtic last summer for just over €4 million, Palma barely got a sniff of action under Brendan Rodgers, a measly 267 minutes across 12 games. That's not just a lack of minutes. That's the kind of game time you give a youth player making his debut, not a full international in his prime. So come January, off he went to Olympiacos on loan, where he's at least managed to play football without getting frostbite on the bench. Reports from Honduras aren't holding back either. They say Palma felt properly mistreated by the club and has absolutely no interest in returning to Glasgow. None. Zilch, nada. According to sources close to the player, he won't come back to Parkhead under any circumstance. Might as well engrave that on the airport departure gate. Rodgers, meanwhile, seems completely unfazed. With Days and Maida running riot on the left and a returning Hoda ready to dance past defenders again, there's apparently no space left at the winger's inn. Celtic are now hoping to recoup that €4 million fee, or something close to it, either from Olympiacos or whoever fancies taking Palma off their hand. If Brendan Rodgers never planned to use Palma properly, why sign him in the first place? Was this just poor recruitment, or is there something deeper going on behind the scenes at Celtic when it comes to foreign signings? Let me know what you think. Are these players being brought in just to warm the bench, or is it just a case of them not being able to hack it in Glasgow? Ah, the classic Ibrox scouting, quietly lingering in the shadows of English League One, plotting a move that could be either a masterstroke or yet another almost but not quite signing. This time, Rangers have got their eyes on Kwame Poku, a zippy little winger from Peterborough United who's been tearing it up when he's actually on the pitch. 4 months out with a hamstring issue didn't slow him down much. Since his return, he's been lighting it up with goals and assists like a lad with something to prove. 11 goals, 11 assists. Not bad for someone playing in a team more worried about relegation than promotion. Now, let's talk cash. Peterborough reckoned they could squeeze £6 million from a tribunal if he joins another English club. But thanks to those lovely cross-border rules, Rangers could potentially swoop in and nab him for a lot less. A cheeky wee bargain, if you will. The plan? Well, with Vaclav Cerny likely heading back to Wolfsburg, unless Rangers decide to shell out a reported £7 million. They're clearly on the lookout for a flashy, direct replacement. Poku fits the bill. Quick, creative, loves to cut inside and cause chaos. Very Aribo-esque, which, let's be honest, is probably what's got Ibrox hearts fluttering. But Peterborough's chairman isn't convinced. He's banking on Poku staying in England, maybe landing at a top championship club instead. Celtic and Rangers scouts have apparently been regulars in the stands, but there's still that lingering doubt about whether players like Poku see Scotland as a stepping stone or a step down. Would a player like Kwame Poku actually benefit more by playing in the Scottish Premiership for Rangers, or is he better off chasing the money and spotlight in the English Championship? Let me know down in the comments. Is the SPFL still seen as a launchpad for talent, or have we lost that spark? A bit of a reality check over at Parkhead, because while the rumor mill is churning and the PR machine's humming like a fiddle, there's still the small matter of actually finishing this season before anyone starts handing out medals or new contracts. So Celtic fans are buzzing about the idea of Brendan Rodgers signing a fresh deal in June. Fair enough, stability. Long-term planning, yada yada. But hang on, wasn't it not that long ago the same fella walked off to Leicester mid-season? This time we're being reassured there'll be no dramatic exits through the back door, with Big Dermot Desmond himself reportedly keeping Rodgers close enough for dinner chats in Dublin. Cozy, isn't it? Rodgers has apparently committed to seeing out his deal, which has one more year on it. But let's not pretend that contracts mean much when Premier League. Clubs come calling with £20 million and a private jet. If they want you, they get you. The key message? If Celtic don't show enough ambition in the transfer window, there's every chance Brendan could be brushing up his French or Spanish instead of planning preseason in Lennoxtown. And speaking of ambition, there's been a shift, finally, in how early the club's scouting around for talent. Positions of need? Check. International targets? Check. A doctor apparently working overtime with all the medicals being prepped? Big check. Credit where it's due. Paul Tisdale, once branded a January window flop, seems to be finding his feet. But all this preparation could be for nothing if potential signings don't know who'll be managing them by August. And don't get too starry-eyed about Europe just yet. Getting close in Munich sounds good in a blog post, but that still means not getting through, doesn't it? Rodgers has said he wants to make Celtic a European force again. Fair play. But that dream needs more than hopeful language and backroom meetings. It needs proper signings, not more punts on unknowns from the J-League. If Brendan Rodgers doesn't get full backing in the summer window, should Celtic even bother offering him a new contract? Or is it time to go for a fresh face with fresh ideas instead of repeating the same old cycle? Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave a like on the video too. Help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Scottish football, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.